Hey, Topaz at the Skin Deep, and thanks for joining us. If you're as excited about watching these videos as we are making them, consider supporting us on Patreon so we can keep bringing more stories your way. Enjoy the video.
If you could change one thing about how you raised me, what would it be and why?
Yeah, I would be more together like I am now. I guess I would have already learned enough to get out of the alcoholic system that I wouldn't have dragged you through it as long as I did, because I can still see the impact on you and of that system, more on her than on you, because you didn't get to participate in it quite so violently and hugely as she did get to participate in it. But I think that would be the one thing that if I could be better, I would have known more and have practiced better parenting inside that system. What advice did I give you that you now know was or is wrong?
I know I have an answer to this one, but that's going to take me a little bit to think. What advice? You definitely did a lot of like, oh, wait for it, and girls will come to you, or like just be yourself and girls will come to you, and like, oh, don't worry about it, like don't get, like, you know, be patient. And actually, I really wish there was a little bit more like, dude, seriously, just fucking talk to these girls, like just fucking go out there and like take that risk and like get that over with, because and your advice was actually correct in terms of the general population. People should be patient. But my problem is that I'm introverted and patient and slow learner. So I'm capable of sitting there and having nothing happen unless somebody's like, you know, smack me on the back of the head and say, just go and do it. You know? So I actually needed the opposite advice.
That makes sense. Yeah. Sorry about that.
Well, I mean,
Too late
whatever.
now.
Too late now. 30 years old now. Still not married. Okay. What do you think I still don't understand about you?
Well, it goes back to the whole love thing. As I've said many times, because of all of the loss, I'm concerned that I will miss out on having either said to someone I love that person or heard back from that person that I am loved by that person before one of us dies. So I understand where you're coming from, because I know you love me, so why should you have to say it? But it's really a big deal for me. It's a big deal for me because I have not said I love you to some people who have died, and it has been the one regret I've had about losing that person. Losing the opportunity to say it one more time, just because. When was the time you felt most alone in our relationship, and how has that shaped you?
Pretty much with everyone, that bad relationship. Just because I literally just thought there was no way out of it. And so I literally thought that there was that like it was like not so epic as, but like the end, like the apocalypse of the epic of Dane, like over. That basically any move that I would make would destroy me. Either I'd be trapped inside the relationship, or if upon escape she would destroy everything around me. So that would be when I was most alone. And then what was the second part of the question? How did it shape me? That I'm still working on. I don't know what shape I'm in after coming out of that one, especially because it's really hard to know what shape you're in when you've forgotten several of the bulges. The idea that I can go through in a traumatic experience enough that makes me forget parts of that really freaks me out. That's trippy, and it's bothering me a lot. So part of my work right now is trying to figure out what that shape is, because if you don't know what the extrusion was, then you're not going to know what the shape is.
Well, my main comment about that is welcome to trauma. That's what trauma looks like sometimes, is that you lose track of what's going on for yourself because it's so horrific. But yeah, that would be, yeah.
Segue. What's the pain in me you'd like to heal?
Well, that question doesn't fit me because I can't heal anybody's pain. I can be there for a person. I can hold you in my heart. I can hold you literally. I can empathize with you and care for you and hurt inside because you're hurting, but I can't fix your pain. I can't fix anybody's pain. We're not fixers. That's the problem. The only person who can do it is that person himself. So, yeah, I would have loved to have been able to take away that pain. I remember too when you told me about the times when I was on trips and then your dad left and you would go down to, of all places, which I later on found out was another alcoholic household. And I noticed when you talked about it that there was some pain in that. And it took me a long time to get past my own pain about that because I felt very guilty. So that would be one place where I would have wanted to take away the pain, but I can't take away your pain. I can't do it. It's yours.
Well, okay, I'm actually going to leap right off of that. I actually told this story to my coworkers recently, a story that I've told you about the time that I woke up from a nightmare and you were at Sprint PCS and I wasn't there, or you weren't there. And that was the period of time when I had to like wake myself up and get myself ready to go to school and stuff. And I told my coworkers when I told the story, my mother hates this story because she sees the pain of her not being there for me. But I like the story and consider it heroic because the thing is that the stuff that you're mentioning, for me, it just made me self-reliant.
No, I understand that. And that's good, up to a point. There's a certain point past which one has to be willing to be not so self-reliant.
Right.
Maybe that is the point that you're still seeking.
Sure, interdependency, but I'm feeling like you're talking about a pain you have that I would like, if I could heal in you, that like whole pain around how you weren't there at certain times or dad wasn't there at certain times for me. Like for me, that pain's gone.
Okay.
Yeah.
I accept that.
Sweet.
Okay.
Let's see here.
Whose turn is it? It's mine. No.
Yeah, it's yours.
Is it? Okay. If this was to be our last conversation, What would you want me to know and never forget?
I feel like this one is one that you worked with the crew on.
I have nothing to do with it. None of these questions, actually.
Well, I don't want to say it in the way I was about to say it. I love you.
Thank you, Dane.
I'm going to say that again in a different way. I want you to know, before this turns out to be the last conversation that we ever have, that I love you.
Thank you, Dane. Thank you. I'm glad. I'm glad you could say that. Your turn.
Why do you love me?
I think that's kind of a strange question to ask a parent. I'm sure that there are plenty of parents who don't love their kids, but I don't want to know them. I love you because you're my son. I love you because you're an amazing person. But most of all, it's because you're my son. I am blessed because you are my son. I got the best son ever.
So my answer deals a little bit with what I said before about how you helped me know myself. I was trying to figure out a way to say this, and a story came to mind. There was a time when we were up in Santa Fe for some reason. I don't remember why. And we were driving down, and I was driving, and you were asleep. And I had a mini freak out because you looked really small. And you looked very, very still. And for a split second, I definitely had to what if she doesn't wake up? I think the thing is of anybody else in this world who would leave me by dying, you're the one where it'd be like, well, fuck, I have nothing to replace that. Everyone else I can kind of find other people. But if you die, then there's nothing to fill that. That's gone.
Thanks for watching. If you feel these videos are important or have an impact, and you want to see more, because we want to make more, we want to explore new stories and new relationships, support us on Patreon so we can keep bringing them and sharing them with you. Thank you very much.